Hey friends, welcome back. This is season 3 of Thursday Thoughts Over Tea, and I'm your amazing host, Angie H. And don't worry, just like every other season, we're going to have amazing topics. We're going to have amazing guests. We're going to deal with our holistic health, and we're going to also dig into societal issues and the things that plagues us. Don't worry, because I will also be that ray of sunshine on your cloudy day with my motivational moments. So be sure to meet me here every Thursday and have that cup of tea ready, and I want you to sit back and enjoy the show. Hey guys, and welcome to Thursday Thoughts Over Tea. I'm your host, Angie H. Let's get into this week's episode, freedom of speech or not. I find it rather amazing that freedom of speech goes out the window when African Americans are speaking up for the culture, for the community, or anyone that chooses to see the right and wrong in the treatment of African Americans. If anybody, no matter the race, speaks up for this group of people, there's an issue. The freedom of speech doesn't matter. It's be quiet. And it's as if we are still in the times where we are to be seen and not heard. You know, different cultures. We tell our children that just, be seen. Some cultures, that is a thing for women to be seen and not heard. And that is how African Americans are treated. And so we're sitting in a time where athletes and celebrities cannot speak out on the injustices of the community. They can't speak a truth that is much needed to awaken so many people around us so that we can really know what is really going on and why we're being treated a certain way, or how it stems from generations before. We are not supposed to say anything. We're just supposed to deal with it, because I think there's a misconception that African Americans are so dumb that we don't know any better. I think some ignorance was put out there many years before that we have to be guided in everything that we do, because we don't really know any better, because we can't grasp knowledge and really decipher truth. So it's amazing to me that we, no matter your platform, big or small, you can have 100 friends on Facebook. It doesn't matter your platform. You are not allowed to speak a truth when it puts injustices on display. What brought me to this topic is Nick Cannon. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen it up and down your timelines, have seen it come across the internet, wherever it's on social media. Nick Cannon has a podcast on YouTube, Cannon's Class, and he brings many different guests up there to talk about different things that plague the culture. He made some remarks with Professor Griff about anti-Semitic remarks. He made those during that podcast. He discussed this conspiracy theories about Jewish people. He made a praise to a minister that is anti-Jewish and different things like that. So I'm not going to go into every aspect of what happened. But basically, he made a statement, or he made a point of the mistreatment of African Americans. And within a day, this man loses his job with Viacom. Now, Viacom is a television corporation that houses different channels, being MTV, the Teen Nick, which was a spinoff from Nickelodeon, and we know for years Nick Cannon was on Nickelodeon. So that's the corporation that houses those channels. Well, we know MTV houses the $1 billion show Wildin' Out that Nick produced, created, and everything. He created this show. This show is now worth $1 billion. And they fired him because of how he felt. But it's his podcast that is separate from the TV show. It is his right to speak freely because of freedom of speech. But yet they let him go because they don't promote and they will not tolerate hate speech. But how many instances have we seen where a weatherman, some reporter will be live and might say something about a nigga, or Martin Luther King Day? They make these things, and it's not until there's an uproar that they're suspended with pay or something like that. So it was the freedom of speech. So nobody has an issue when it's with freedom of speech when it's against African American community. But if it's for, there's an issue. So this man loses his livelihood. They don't want to give him the rights to a show that he created, even though they house it in their station. All because he spoke his truth. He spoke on a subject that African Americans need to study and read up on. So there's a issue. So now he's promoting hate speech to the point that it happened so fast that then you see Nick Cannon make this long post of apology and kind of backpedaling what he said. So now, people have an issue with why are you backpedaling and staying strong, staying firm, but we really don't know the power that certain people have when it comes to entertainment and athletes and things like that. We don't know if this man was threatened. We don't know if his life, his kids, we don't know what happened to make him backpedal. But what we do know is that he spoke a truth that triggered even more people to an awakening of what is really happening in America today. Not America then, but America the present. So that brings me to my point. Everybody has a right to speak freely until it's the blacks that want their right to speak their truth. So I asked that question, and some people commented on, my post that said they don't want the truth. Truth is a hard pill to swallow. And if it puts a certain group of people in a bad light, that's the issue. Now, as long as we are being painted as savages, we don't know any better. Y'all just need to get over it. I mean, it happened. That's fine. There's a fear that African Americans will wake up. They will see the system as it is. And we will begin to unify in each other and find some camaraderie within ourselves, that we are not the enemy for each other, that we actually need to come together to fight the systems that plague us and that want to keep us bound and separate. But don't speak on it. Do not speak freely, because that is hate and that's bringing division. And it's always like that. Like I can see the news will post something on Facebook or whatever, and then it's so many things. Why they keep bringing up the past? Why? And it's just so much. But you're on a platform that you're supposed to be able to speak freely. If you don't like what is being said, turn the channel. Period. But don't take away certain people's rights to speak on things that affect them personally. It shouldn't be that you have to retract your statement because now your life is threatened, or there's a fear that you may be murdered or jobless because you spoke a truth that other people don't want to digest. It's sad to me. So is freedom of speech really free? Or it doesn't apply to certain people? We have to see things for what it really is. Everything is fine as long as we stay in our place, in the place of being seen and not heard. We will give you your thoughts and tell you what's allowed. You don't have a thought of your own. You're not smart enough, intelligent enough. Celebrities and athletes are put in place to entertain us, not to have a voice. What was it, years ago, or not too long ago, someone told LeBron James to shut up and dribble? He doesn't really have an opinion, but we paying you to entertain us. Celebrities, stop using your voice. Now, in a day, Nick Cannon lost his job. Breonna Taylors are still living their best life and employed. You can find it quick and find a reason for someone on their personal podcast exercising their right to freedom of speech. You can let them go, but a young lady sleep in her bed after being on the front line of COVID in medical, sleep in her bed, you find it and you enter into her home. You were in the wrong home. You enter into a home and you murder her, shoot her 8 times in her bed as she slept, but you got your job. And then quietly, celebrities and other people protest this injustice of this young lady's life, and you arrest them with no pause. But Nick Cannon cannot, on his own platform, speak against injustices because you're spreading about hate. Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense. Right. So I just need to know, or someone need to point me into the direction that says freedom of speech applies to everybody but African Americans. Y'all are to entertain us and do what you are told because y'all don't have the brain capacity to decipher right and wrong. Show me where that is. People, platforms have begun to fact check everything. If it's against what the powers that be want to be known, they fact checking, they blocking your Facebook post, they're putting you in Facebook jail because you're bringing about division, as if the country is not divided from the first day that African Americans was brought to this country as slaves, and still fighting some form of oppression here in 2020. Oh, okay. All of this makes sense to me. Not, but I try to act like it does. It really doesn't make any sense. People are offended. And people are fighting their right to not wear a mask in public because this is a man-made, COVID is man-made, and this impedes on my right, and I shouldn't have to do it. But not too long ago, it was okay to have whites only on display. Coloreds served in the back. Colored water fountain, white water fountain, colored restroom. Those signs was okay. It didn't impede on anybody's rights at all. Wearing a mask takes away my constitutional right, and we're going to burn these masks because we have the right to not wear a mask in public. There's a problem with that sign. But it's not a problem with all the other signs throughout history that affect a group of people. Calling us everything under the sun is your right to speak freely. But we don't have that right when we speak against it. interesting to me. Maybe I'm, looking at it wrong. Maybe someone can sit me down and tell me how that's not how it is. This is America, and you have the right. This is home of the free. You have all the rights in America. Okay. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong. I don't know. I do need to get my eyes checked and check my prescription, and maybe I can see it clearly, because what I see is bogus, and I see a bunch of bull, and I see a land of people that want us to be seen and entertained, to work their visions, to continue to make them millions. And in doing that, shut up and keep your opinion to yourself. As if they have the power to silence us. Now, they may have that power with some people. But there's a rising. There's a group of people that are awakening. And they're going to say what they want to say. And if you can't swallow and eat that pill of truth, that's personal. But it needs to be said, it needs to be seen, and it needs to be upfront. And it shouldn't cost someone their life or their job when you say this is a free country and I have a freedom of speech. So that's my Thursday thought today. Stay tuned. Right after this break, I will give you your Black Excellence 365. So I know you're probably asking yourself as you listen to this amazing podcast week after week, who is Angie H? And it's quite simple. I'm just a wife and a mother trying to use her platforms to empower and impact the world. What platforms, you ask? Anise Charles Organics, ANISE Charles Organics. This is my holistic health company that I use health coaching, holistic nutrition, and herbal products to help you and to promote holistic living from the inside out. Defining our purpose. This is the platform that I use my book, Inspirations, which is a journal devotional, as well as motivational videos. I take the time out to listen to you and help you navigate through your darkest times. But if you want to find out more about both of these platforms, just simply go to www.definingourpurpose.com, or as you're scrolling up and down your timelines on IG and Facebook, simply like my page or follow me at Anise Charles Organics, ANISE Charles Organics, or Defining Our Purpose. Hey guys, and welcome back to Thursday Thoughts Over Tea. I'm here with your Black Excellence Moment. I'm John Hanson. Who in the world is John Hanson? Some of you may know, a lot of us did not. So John Hanson was a merchant, a public official from Maryland during the era of the American Revolution. In 1779, Hanson was elected as a delegate to the Continental Congress after serving in a variety of roles for the patriot cause in Maryland. He signed the Articles of Confederation in 1781 after Maryland finally joined the other states in ratifying them. In November 1781, he was elected as first president of Confederation Congress, following the ratification of the Articles. For this reason, some of Hanson's biographers have argued that he was actually the first holder of the office of president. Now, we were told that George Washington was our first president. We never knew about John Hanson, an African American man, holding that office. So everything about him was never put in history. We have known and still believe and still are being taught that George Washington is the first president. But we didn't know that actually before George, there was John. just a little bit more on Mr. Hansen and his president of Congress. On November the 5th, 1781, Congress elected Hansen as its president. Under the Articles of Confederation, the United States had no executive branch. The president of Congress was a mostly ceremonial position, but the office did require Hansen to serve as neutral discussion moderator, handle official correspondence, and sign documents. Hansen found the work tedious and considered resigning after just 1 week, citing his poor health and family responsibility. Colleagues urged him to remain because Congress at that moment lacked the quorum to choose a successor. Out of a sense of duty, Hansen remained in office. Although his term as a delegate to Congress was nearly expired, Maryland Assembly re-elected him as a delegate on November 28, 1781, and so continued to serve as president until November 4th, 1782. First black president, not Obama. First black president, John Hansen. Even though there was no record of him, he did exist. Thank you for tuning in. You guys, talk to you next week. Have a great day. Hey, so did you enjoy this week's episode? Well, I hope you did. But you know what you can do if you never want to miss another episode? Just simply subscribe to Thursday Thoughts Over Tea on all podcast platforms, or follow me on IG at Thursday Thoughts Over Tea. Be sure that if you have any thoughts or concerns or any topics that you want to discuss, simply send me an email at definingourpurpose@gmail.com. Always remember, your thoughts are amazing, but sometimes they're even better when you're sipping on a hot cup of tea. See you next week here on Thursday Thoughts Over Tea with Angie H.